Woo, 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 woo. It is transfer deadline day. That sounded kind of zesty still. But listen, it is the final day of the window. Leeds United, are we going to do any business? Will we? Won't we? Do we need to? Those are the questions we'll get in today's show. And listen, I will be back for a stream later, and that's when we will wrap up the whole thing in regards to the deadline day, the transfer window, give it a rating. We'll do that later on today. And yeah, we'll just go through it all there, and we'll go into what we would have liked to have seen, and I'll talk about personally what I would have liked to make it a 10 window, which you can't do with certain people still on the books. But yeah, we'll talk about that all later. But are we going to do anything today? I'm feeling kind of good, and I'm going to say that after rip, I feel good about today. I see other teams doing business, which is making me go, it's making me raise the people's eyebrow. But in terms of us and this group that we've got, I'm highly confident in them. We just have to hope we don't get any defensive injuries. That's all we got to hope for. But look, people, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments and thoughts below. And listen, we'll get into this. And look, big up to John Abbott, William Morrison, Mr. P for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. Guys, what are we saying here? Tintin in the house. If we don't bring in anybody, fingers crossed, no bad injuries or burnout, we might have a good cup run, means extra games. Even with that, Tintin, and we'll get into that. A cup run doesn't hinder anything. That's become a myth with fans lately. In terms of it's not lately, it's over like the last 10 years where you need to go out the cups in order to fully focus on the league. I highly disagree with that. I really do. And sometimes you think, oh, yeah, we could do with just concentrating on the league. But I don't think you need that. I think with the players that have come in, that are squad players, they need those cup games and they need to impress in those in order to make Daniel Farke think, oh, I really like what you did today. Maybe you'll start the next league game. Having a cup run for us doesn't do any harm. And again, Sheffield United a couple of years ago got promoted and got to a FA Cup semi-final. And, you know, it does happen. You know, it does happen. Some would say Wigan won a cup and got relegated. But I'm just saying, if you use your squad correctly, I think you're okay for a cup run. And we've got more than enough in our squad to rotate a few players, depending on the fixture, of course. And also as well in the cup, if you do get a Premier League team, it's always nice to see how they get up against them. Listen, it's a one-off game, but you like to see how they go up against a Premier League team, Premier League manager. Also, you'd like to see that. So I'm all good with it. I'm all good with it. And plus, I don't want to lose to Millwall. I'm going to say that. Don't want to lose to Millwall. James here saying here, difficult to sign anyone in January when you can't guarantee them a place in the starting 11. Very true, James. Listen, I've already told you, players I speak to don't want to move to this league regardless. There's even someone now, I think I've told you already that he won't move to the Championship because his boot deal's up at the end of the season and he wants as much like kind of contract leverage as much as he can. And that's a part of it. That's just one part of it. Another part is he has no interest in coming down to the league, but he doesn't want to lose any rights. And those are the things that we as fans don't even consider, like little things, not little things like that, but things that are just off the pitch like that. But yeah, if you can guarantee someone a place, especially if you're at a team like Leeds United and you've just seen them win 7-0, you're thinking, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. But yeah, if you're coming in as a squad player, that's a lot to try and convince them to do. And listen, we've already seen with a couple of Danny Farke's ex-players, they haven't even been lured by him. Whereas, you know, Scott Parker's lured in an old teammate of his in Marcus Edwards. Enzo Lefebvre, you know, reeled in by his former boss at Sunderland. He hasn't managed to do that even with ex-players. So imagine talking to a fresh player that's probably got no relationship with Farke to come in and say, so I'm not going to be an automatic starter? No, but you'll be on the bench. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Thank you. You know what I mean? I think that's probably what they say. Pat here saying, hey, KG, talk some sense, please. Fan base in meltdown over our opponent signings. Yeah, listen, there's a couple of signings that have piqued my interest. I think Adingra, if he goes to Sunderland, that's a real good signing. And another one is if Adam Armstrong is let go. I mean, I saw this today. Graham Bailey, I mean, as I was preparing for the show, Middlesbrough and Sunderland have both asked for Southampton. Both asked Southampton about Adam Armstrong. As it stands, he's more likely to leave than Leeds target Cameron Archer. Honestly, none of this makes sense to me. Don't know what's going on at Southampton. I guess they're preparing for life in the champion in some way. Don't get it. I know they're signing a player, but Adam Armstrong, I mean, if you're talking about Cameron Archer being helpful to you in the Championship, Adam Armstrong is a top Championship striker. Like he's easily guaranteed nearly 20 goals in this division. Just hasn't translated to the Prem, which is the thing I have with Cameron Archer and why I'm so happy that this deal looks like it's not going to happen, because I just don't want any obligation with Cameron Archer. But Adam Armstrong, for a team in the championship, he's going to score goals. Now, the only concern I have of that with Middlesbrough and Sunderland is if we drop out of the top two and we have to face one of these teams in the playoffs, because even with Blackburn, I have high doubts about Blackburn. I'm just not confident with the playoffs just overall. I think it would be a bit of a come down on a morale level from the team to have to play in the playoffs to begin with. And also tactically, I don't know how we'll get on in the playoffs again. So if you're looking at Adam Armstrong, you're thinking, God damn, there you go. There's another top striker back in the playoffs. Wouldn't like it. Yeah, James here making a couple of points. Most of the players are back from injury, and James also says here team is healthy, so I don't think we sign anyone. Yeah, it's hard though, isn't it? It's hard to really look at the team now with everyone back. Who's not back at the moment? Just Bamford, isn't it? Is there anyone else that's out injured right now? Verber's knee, his knee. I mean, that should be someone's name at this point, Verber's knee. But apart from that, we are literally almost at full strength. So it's hard to look at the squad now. If you're investing this again, look at it from a business point of view and say, all right, go and buy another striker, or for permanent, or go and buy another fullback when Jaden Bogle's on fire, and we got Furpo back, and Byram when he plays has been more than good. You know what I mean? Yeah, Verber's dodgy knee, man. It's a shame, though. It's a shame. Yeah, Bobby saying Borough doing some good business. They need to, though. And this is the thing as well. When people go, into meltdown over other people's signings, they're trying to get to the level of this football team. They're trying to get at least close to it, and they're not going to. Quite frankly, they're not going to. And something else, what I want to say, and I'll probably save this for the rating later as well, but even if Solomon was to go cold at this moment in time, Ramazani's going to come in and he's going to kick on. So even when players may go out of form a little bit, there's players in the reserve that are hungry, willing, and ready to come in and then make us stake their claim for a spot. That's why I'm just not worried about, especially attack. Now, preferably, I would love a goalkeeper, but we know it's not going to happen, so no point speaking about it. But defensive cover for me is one where I think we shouldn't leave to chance. I think that's the only area for me where I think, no. Pascal's hamstrings are, the dodgy as it is. Can he survive the remaining, whatever it is, 16 games? Hopefully so. Fingers crossed, everyone. But yeah, I would like a little bit of defensive cover, but that's it for me. I don't want to upset this group of players that we've got, because they're good players and they've got good rapport. That's a beautiful mix. Whereas before we had good rapport and just meaty players. This is different, now. These are good players and they've got a good group. Let's not risk upsetting it by getting someone in who's pretty much wanting to guarantee starts and knocking someone else's nose out of joint. And people don't consider this as well. It doesn't just knock that teammate's nose out of joint, it knocks his close teammates' noses out of joint too. Like, well, who's this guy coming in? He's no better than you. How can he just get a start? Things like that happen in football, people, and we need to avoid that. And Danny Farkas said that as well. Paul saying Danny Ings, not for me, Paul. He'd be joining Bamford, mate. He'd just be next to him saying, yeah, what treatment you getting today? Yeah, same here. Knee also. Yeah, not Danny Ings for me, no mind. Let's have a look. Chris here saying, bear in mind, KG, those weaker teams are in and around us without strengthening. Now they're stronger and our gap isn't very big. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a point, Chris, but I'm concentrating on what we're doing. And at this point in time, even with our weakest link being the goalkeeper, and trust me, it's funny because other teams wish that we keep him because they probably figure he's their best chance of going up. It's an insane thing. My girl support Sheffield United is glad that we're keeping Meslier. That's a whole nother story. But look, they may be getting stronger, Chris, but there's no guarantees with this. There's no guarantees. And with the group that we've got, Solomon's only getting stronger. Dan James has been strong all season long. Ampadu, hopefully when he's back in midfield, we get to see more of him. Tanaka is a little bit more unleashed now. We've got a good group, man. And that's why I can't be concerned with other people. Now, it will be a concern if we drop out of the top two, and I will fully take that on board. But right now, we're top of the league. We're the standard bearers. We're 5 points away from third, and I think we've got a good chance of beating Coventry as well. Good chance. Talking about us like we're some chumps out there. But I think we'll beat Coventry, but we'll speak about that on the preview tomorrow. And we just have to keep doing what we do. And then it's 15 games. The games just keep ticking down, and we just keep on getting stronger at this point. If he doesn't come in, LUFC saying here, KG, if he doesn't come in, do you see anyone coming in? I would say no, and that's only because we haven't been linked with anyone. Obviously, the 49ers don't divulge, who their targets are, but they've been really heavy into Cameron Archer. And according to Alex Crook, which is his latest one, Leeds are still pushing hard for him. It seems like he's the number one target. And something that Danny Farker said is that we're not going to get involved on the final day in terms of, bidding against other clubs, which I think isn't right, but it depends on the player, of course. But if it's not Cameron Archer, then who's the next on the list that we haven't heard about? And I find it very difficult to believe we haven't heard about him, especially if it's domestic, because reporters at that club's end usually leak it. Not from the Leeds end, but from that club's end, they will leak it in doing a club a favor in trying to get a player out. So I think it's unlikely. I do. And that's why later, I don't know when I'm going to do my transfer day rating thing. I don't know if I'm going to do it later on near the deadline or earlier on in the evening. It depends how everything's looking. Okay. And then listen, if I do it early and something happens at 11, I will obviously come back, of course. But I'm thinking it's going to be very, very quiet today. Very, very quiet. Paul here saying Solomon was it was heavily injury prone when we signed him, KG, with a smiley face. Paul think he did something here. He thought he did something. Solomon's still injury prone, Paul. He hasn't changed. He was literally just the other week before he started another game. He had something with his knee, and that's why I put him out of the starting lineup, just so we don't aggravate his injury due to his previous history here. So he hasn't changed, and he's having to be managed as well. He has to be managed with his minutes after the last couple of years he had. But yeah, Danny Ings for me, no. But listen, you do you. But thank you for that, Paul. Michael here saying, let me get another bit of water, people. Buy a keeper now for up to 4 million or pay up to 20 million for one just because you're a Prem team. Yeah, listen, Michael, there's some keepers out there that you don't need to pay anywhere near 20. I get what you're saying in terms of the Premier League tax, and everyone thinks that you just roll in the money, but there's goalkeepers out there that you can easily get back. And I've got a couple of names that I'm not going to say on this kind of stream. I'll wait until the summer when we're promoted and do separate videos on that. But yeah, there's goalkeepers out there that you can get. I mean, listen, Bryce Samba went for 15. 15 million for Bryce Samba is an absolute joke. And I'm looking in that kind of realm for a goalkeeper when we go up. Michael is saying Southampton had to pay 25 for Ramsdale. Yeah, English tax though, Michael. English tax is an English goalkeeper. The goalkeepers I'm looking at are not English. In terms of the quality goalkeepers I've got. But yeah, you're always going to have to pay a premium for an England international, even though he's not first choice. And he came from Arsenal. They would have looked to recoup a lot of the money that they paid for him. So yeah, good for Southampton. But yeah, Ramsdale, again, he's nowhere near for me. Nowhere near. Someone said earlier, let me just try. Where is it? Yeah, Nathan here. Another great point. Unless Nathan here, we should buy when we're promoted, and I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more with that. Unless, like I say, you're getting. If I say that name, it's going to ruin the summer one. But I'm saying, unless it's someone that you're really going for in the summer for the Premier League, then yeah, it's got to be just loans for me. I don't mind if they strengthen with just straight up loans, but no obligation for a player that's not going to be anywhere near good enough for this football club. Seen as well, I think Ipswich are signing West Brom goalkeeper Alex Palmer for 2 million. Ipswich are just getting their ducks in a row to have probably the best championship squad in history at this point. Alex Palmer for me as well. I don't rate him like that, but I think what they're doing is getting another top championship goalkeeper. They probably figure Muric is going to leave in the summer when they're relegated, so they're getting a goalkeeper that is going to be their number one for next season in the champ. And I don't blame them at the point of where they are. I don't blame them, but again, we don't want to be shopping in those markets that Ipswich and Southampton, Leicester, Sheffield United shopping. We don't need to. We've got a bigger network. We've got a great network. We've got a great name. Use the name. Use what we get in at this football club, the turnover at this football club, the fan base. Use all the numbers you can, and go and convince players in the summer to sign for this football club. It won't be easy, but this is Leeds United, man. I can't be looking at Leeds United and thinking, oh, damn, Alex Palmer's gone. We could have got him. No, absolutely not. No, there's goalkeepers out there we can go and poach from top European clubs or medium European clubs once we're back in the Prem. I do think that. No, I haven't, Chris. I think you've mentioned about 3 times. No, I haven't. Heard of him, so I can't help you there. James here saying James Harrison. Jack Harrison is linked to Fulham. I forgot he was still our player on loan. Yeah, what is that for the summer, James? Let me know. I haven't seen anything with that. In fact, I did see one little report in regards to that. I think maybe it is the summer, but yeah. Um, yeah, LUFC living. We'll be interested to see what happens to Liam Delap. I'm hoping he ends up at a club where he won't get a start and gets loaned out. Oh, I see. Yeah. Got you. And loaned out to us. Yeah. But this is another thing. Someone yesterday said in the chat, and I can't remember who it was, said, we've got no chance of getting a Liam Delap. And that may be true because his stock is sky high right now. But we always know, listen, Ivan Toney is a perfect case, but not just him, not just him. Let me go with someone without some baggage. There's been other players where top teams don't take the risk until somebody else does. We've seen it through time. And you never know if you go in early enough, and if he does have a relegation release clause in there, and you go to Ipswich, yeah, we'd like him, and you sell him the project, he's going to be, this and that. Then there is a chance that a club like Leeds can get Liam Delap. He's literally at Ipswich Town. You know what I mean? But I know what people are saying. His next progression, it does seem that the bigger clubs are going to be looking at him, but they always, they're slow on the take. They're slow to go to it until they go to like that medium Premier League club, do it there also, and then they decide to pay 80 to 90 million for the player. But there's always a chance, people. But look, we'll see how it goes. But I do envision him going to a bigger club as well. But I'm saying Leeds shouldn't be taking themselves out of conversations once we're back in the Prem. No way. We should be in those conversations. And it would be nice as well. Look, I've got Cameron Archer on the thumbnail. It would be nice to not have to talk about these kind of players. You know what I mean? It would be nice to go back to the Prem and then go, we are capable of getting these players. It's just that we didn't do it before. So I guess maybe people think that we're incapable of doing it, but that we had attainable targets before. I'll never forget Tian Koopmeiners before he went to Atalanta and under Gasparini. He was there for 12 mil. 12 mil, and we weren't even interested, apparently. Just crazy stuff. Hey, listen, Tomori, he may be available come the summer. Could we get him for a defender? There's a whole different market you can shop in once you get to the Premier League, but we got to get back there first, people. We got to get back. Gavin here saying here, KG, you can't tell me all these teams can find and sign players and we can't. It's a joke, really. Well, Gavin, you're here right now. What do you have any position in mind that you would want to make a signing at right now? And do you have any kind of names? And I'm not putting any pressure on you because it's kind of hard at this point. But I'm just saying, what else would you possibly add? And that's the problem I'm having. That's the problem I'm having in terms of, well, what else are we going to add at this point? It's not realistic for a goalkeeper. We know that story. What's realistic in order to make this team even stronger than it is? For me, we only need like insurance to make this team strong coming towards the end of the window, and we may not even need to use them. We may not need to use them. Gavin, his question is answered here by Lang, just saying here a 10. I agree that would be a position, but I don't know if we're going to try. I know I mentioned that Armenian guy yesterday, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, and I think he's rated around 20 million. So unless that's a loan to obligation to buy, that's certainly not going to happen. Yeah. Lee here saying Delap will, Delap will go to a top 6 club. Yeah, he could do. Lee. If they pull the trigger, and they should do, because he's got a lot of talent. He's a very talented player. You can see that there's levels for him to go as well in a better team. But yeah, that's where you have to hope that they don't pull the trigger and you can sneak in for a player like that. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, Ali saying goalkeeper, but Gavin here saying centre back. Yeah, well, that's it, Gavin. I would like a centre back cover myself, and that's where I do think that we would have weakened in this window, not getting a centre back as cover, because we're not using DeBio. And I do believe, just going from the conversations 2 weeks ago, that we were trying for a centre back to loan out DeBio so he can get first team football. But I know what the message is going to be when we close the window. He's going to be asked, what about centre backs? He'll say, and we still have James, who we trust. I trust implicitly. He will say that. But for me, proof's always in the pudding on how you use a player. But yeah, I agree with you, Gavin. A centre back would be lovely for me. That would be what we need to strengthen in this window. And exactly, James, we don't need to overpay for depth when that's all we need. And I'm with you there. Absolutely with you. in terms of that. Darren here, only Enzo Lefebvre is the signing I'm jealous of. Yeah, Lefebvre's he's a top operator, man. He's a good player. He's a good player. So can't hate on that. Look, I know. Is anyone bothered about this one? Marcus Edwards to Burnley. Anyone bothered about that? Listen, again, I know they've bought Morgan Whitaker too. Did he go Burnley or did he go somewhere else? He went Middlesbrough, didn't he? Yeah, so Marcus Edwards to Burnley. Um, good for them. Good for them. But Burnley at the moment are trying to bore their way into the top two. This may give him the edge once or twice, but he's got to get back into form himself. He's been, dropped, had a couple of injuries himself. It may not take him. It may take him a while to get acclimatized back to championship kind of football. So we see. Tom Johansson. Why can't Leeds loan from the Red Bull network? Would be a good solution so we don't waste budget for next season. Yeah. Well, I think we'll utilize that in the Premier League. And thing as well with kind of Red Bull players is they're playing in top leagues for their own club. So they still have to agree. They can't just push them to Leeds United. They can suggest that they come here, but they have to also agree to come here. And Danny Farker's already said, and he's right with this, if a player doesn't want to come here, don't force them to. And I do agree with that. Of course, there's some convincing to do with certain players where they're like, I'm not sure. But if someone really doesn't want to go, you don't want that. You don't want that, do you? So yeah. Burnley are too focused on defending, but Edwards might be an extra defender. Tremendous, yeah. Steve, what's going on, man? Loads to fill in depth, a reasoned approach. Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. What I don't want is us to get suckered in where they feel pressured by the gallery, and that gallery is the majority of the fan base that just want to see signings for signing's sake. And then they obligation to buy 15 million for some meaty player. We're starting off on the wrong foot in the Premier League already before we even get there. So let's be sensible with this. And I agree with the approach so far. I do. Let's have a look here. In terms of Edwards, he'll probably end the season with 1 goal, 1 assist with the style Burnley is playing. Yeah. And what else is there? Yeah. Ian Nacho, another one that was linked with us. He's now done his medical at Middlesbrough. That is done basically, and they're paying a large portion of their wages. Let's just have a look and see if there's anything else going on, because obviously I'm doing this live, some of this information will age like milk in about an hour, but it is what it is. Nothing new on that. I'm just looking at see if there's anything with Alex Crook, because in all fairness with Alex Crook, he's pretty well averse to those teams down at the in the south. So if he knows something from Southampton, he will definitely have the information. Yeah, nothing else on Archer. Nothing else. Russell here saying we only need one signing and goalkeeper. Russell, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I mean, you just think of that, man. And there's no point going through this because it will just annoy you. But that's literally our weak link. It's the most glaring weak link we have. And I saw recently, let me see if I can get this up. I'm going to do this while I'm live. Let me see if I can get JR Cooper's thing up. I'm sure it was him that had the stats for this. Stats have been flying out everywhere, people. It's been hard to. Here we are. It is him. Right. So this is the shots faced by Leeds in the championship games at Ellen Road alone this season. Look at that. And we have to make sure for the remainder of the season we keep it this way, because that is our weak link. The goalkeeper is our glaring weak link, and our rivals and their fans know it too. They don't make a secret of that. They want to see Meslier stay. But if we can keep on suppressing shots the way that we're doing, it's a tall order. It's a tall ask. We've done it so far, but so hopefully we can keep doing it towards the end of the season. Then we should be okay. But I'll be honest with you. Anytime the opponents do manage to go forward, even in the last game where there was like 2 shots, I'm just nervous with him. I just feel like he may not have made an error today, but when is it coming? When is it coming with this goalkeeper? And that is the glaring weak area. And I wish if we just strengthen that spot, I'd be perfectly happy. Honestly, I'd be perfectly happy. But the reason why I keep on going into defense is because we need to keep this goalkeeper protected. Now, I mean, people can bang on about clean sheets all they want. It's the team that's doing it. He's a part of it, of course, but it's the team in front of him that is making sure that we are not seeing 10 shots, even happening at Ellen Road. And these aren't even on target people. These are just shots. So this isn't even saying that any of them are going to Meslier. That it's a brilliant defensive record that we've got. It is. But yeah, so there we are. Aaron here asking here, what do you think of Adam Armstrong? I mentioned earlier, Aaron, I think he's a top championship striker, 100%. You know, whoever gets him on loan is going to get a big boost. He's been scoring goals at this level for fun for years now. If you were asking me if we should get him, if you could get him, if you're asking if it's Adam Armstrong and Cameron Archer, I would much prefer Adam Armstrong at this in this division. And there's an argument as well with Adam Armstrong. I don't even think it's an argument. I think he becomes our number one, number nine. Adam Armstrong at this level, a bit harsh on Peru, but it's a good battle to have. I think Adam Armstrong kind of does that. For me, Cameron Archer doesn't. He doesn't now. But yeah, Adam Armstrong, good championship. Wouldn't want him in the Prem. No, that's the honest assessment of him. Aaron here saying here, also another Aaron here, play him now, Melier. I mean, get his value up selling the summit. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping is the case, Aaron. I really do. We can't see Melier in the Premier League again. We just can't. And Ricky here saying here, barring any unforeseen injuries, we've got all we need to succeed. Yeah. What Gavin here saying, Adam Armstrong is being linked with us now. I'll have a look. If anyone's going to have it, it will be these. I'm not seeing anything. I'll type it in. Let me see. Nah, the first thing that came up was his goal against us in the playoff final. Lovely. Oh, okay. All right. No, you're right. You're right. Let me see. Let me see. Craig Hope. Oh, he's pretty reliable up there as well. He hasn't got nothing on his page, but oh no, he has. He has. All right, I'm here. I'm here, people. I'm here. So where we are. Let me just make this bigger for you. So that's within like the last half an hour. Okay, thank you for that, Gavin, and whoever else said it up there. You're not dead. I mean, up there in the chat, that's gone up. All right. Craig Hope saying here now, Adam Armstrong could leave today. Understand there's interest from Leeds and Middlesbrough. So he's got interest from Leeds, Middlesbrough, and Sunderland. Wow. Okay. But Donna here saying, please no to Armstrong. Fair enough. But Donna, not even on a straight up loan. Not even on a straight up loan. Oh, Donna, come on, man. Haven't forgiven him for the playoffs. Well, then you shouldn't like Jaden Bogle either, then, because he did the old glasses thing to us in our playoff semi-final defeat. No. Oh, Luke, not you too. What is going on, people? He's still good. Guys, you guys, hey, listen, if we need to do therapy another time, we will do therapy. Well, I'm going to cure you all of that, all right? And Donna's bringing in the, what is it, astrology? Scorpio. Okay. I don't believe in that stuff, but whatever you believe, cool with you. But and I get it. But listen, on a footballing level, people, can I go there? Can I go there? If it is just a straight up loan for Adam Armstrong, and this is the one to get in, I'm fine with that. Absolutely. Adam Armstrong at this level is goals. So yeah, I would take him. And listen, Donna and everyone else, all it would take, Donna and everyone else that has got PTSD from Adam Armstrong, all he has to do is score a goal in Leeds colours and he'll be forgiven. We've seen it already. People swore blind, and there is still a few out there that still hate Brendan Aronson, by the way. People swore blind they wouldn't like Aronson. He's come back, he's doing the business, and people like him again. We're hearing his American Boy song. Listen, football's a funny old game, and it's very fickle. One of those. Lang, can we trade Eli Melier for Alex Nedeljkovic, or would you not wish Melier on Pittsburgh? It's crazy how both of my teams have got the most dodgiest goaltending, goalkeeping. I just must attract it. It just must be me. Is it all me? Is it all me? But yeah, it's listen, my team Pittsburgh, we're on. It's the first time I've ever experienced it, apart from when we nearly went out of business in the late 90s. But yeah, we're becoming a rebuilding team. Playoffs have been a myth. Yeah, it's all mad for me now. But look, at least you can't get relegated in American sports. You just get top-end draft picks. Great, isn't it? It's great. Yeah, Ali here. Do the job for us, and I don't care what you've done in the past. Yeah, well, depending. There's things that you can't really do. But I get what your point. I get your point. Aaron here saying, if Burnley don't go up, Trafford would be a great signing. Boy, the thing is with Trafford, I mean, that would be an expensive one. If Ramsdale cost 25, I think Burnley would probably ask for that and probably more because of his upside. He wasn't ready for the Premier League last year, and it was so obvious he wasn't ready for the Premier League. It was a move too soon for him. He was the thing is as well in the Premier League, the shot choices and the shots are just better. They're just different. They're better. The tactical side of it is just different for a goalkeeper, and he wasn't ready. Will he be ready next time? I don't know. But for me, the name I have in mind is a more experienced head. But yeah, James Trafford is going to be a good goalkeeper. But yeah, he just got peppered in the Premier League last year. It was quite evident he wasn't ready. But yeah, he's gonna be a good signing for somebody. We shall see. We shall see. James saying your Hurricanes made some moves. Yeah, good. Yeah, yeah, yes, you did. Yeah, Rantanen. Good move. Good move and losing Natures. I like Natures though, James. I think he's a good player, but I think he was looking to leave you, wasn't he? So yeah, you've come out well in that. But can you sign him? Listen, you took Gwenzel from us last year, couldn't sign him down to a long-term deal. You took the Tampa tax out there in Florida. We shall see what you do, James. Let's have a look. AUFC will need experience if you want to stay up. Yeah, you can have a mix of everything. You can get some good high-end youngsters, but yeah, get some experience heads in there, whether it be in the Prem or from abroad. Get some experience head that can manage the expectations of the football club for another thing. Because I'm telling you, if we was having the results that Ipswich are having right now, we'd be focused on Talk Sport, Sky Sports, but they're not really talking about it. Maybe it's because they like Kieran McKenna, but we get highlighted when we're in the Prem. We always do. So you're going to have that to contend with as well. The extra media pressure that you get here that you don't get at places like Ipswich. There's different things that they're going to have to check for boxes when we do sign players. Absolutely. Yeah, Ali, that's it for me as well. More experienced goalkeeper. But look, if James Trafford was the one, I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't say no, but yeah, I've got some real, you can get top goalkeepers at good ages in the Premier League. Absolutely. Tommy Hansen saying here, Leeds need a centre forward, not a fidget spinner. No to Adam Armstrong. Damn. Let me just go to Adam Armstrong a second. I just want to make sure I haven't gassed up his goal return more than I'm thinking in my head. And that does happen sometimes. Uh yeah. Look, people. Adam Armstrong, Southampton loan. Now, this tells you everything you need to know. Premier League numbers, nah. All right. Just know he's not Premier League. Say just the level is just way too high for him, and that's obvious. But look at this last season. Was this last year? Yeah, 24 goals, people. What are we saying? For a loan? No, what are we saying here? And then also at Blackburn, he was also a marksman at Blackburn too. Look at that. Good goal returns at this level. Six, five. Okay, don't know what was happening there. 16, 28. Yeah, man, he's good. He's good. I don't know. Listen, I get it. If you're not convinced, I'm cool. Because, like I say, I'm good with the forwards that we have. I've got no there's no itch for me. And I've said it, I've been consistent through the month. There's no real itch for me for a new forward to come in. I've been said it from the start of the year. I'm happy with what we've got. And when you look at our style of play anyway, it's made for our forwards to be like the foil for the wingers and fullbacks to do their thing. And and it's more likely to be a winger to run in and get that tap in or get that shot off on goal. So I don't think it's vitally important. I don't. Oh, but Lang here saying Leeds need a striker to head in the James Solomon crosses. Okay. I mean, Solomon's crosses are usually like low driven, though, for me. Unless he cuts back on his right foot and he puts a floater to the far post. But then Dan James is there to finish it off. You know what I mean? But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But yeah. Richard here just saying here, I'd rather we wait until we're in the Prem, go for glory. Nothing out there for us in this January. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll keep an eye on this one through the day. This Adam Armstrong one, which is just bizarre from a Southampton point of view, even more bizarre than the Cameron Archer thing. But if there's nothing else, I think the final show today will be right in the transfer window, and we'll get into everything in regards to that later on tonight. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Oh, and that's it as well. Luke here just saying about Matteo, he believes in the kid, and obviously I do too. That goes without saying. A couple of comments, including Mr. P's super chat. We're talking about his lack of celebration. Now, listen, I can tell you for a fact he was relieved that he scored the goal, and I can tell you that, spoke to him already. But I didn't go into is the speculation about a new striker affecting him. And again, and this is just me guessing off a human level. I think if anyone is coming in for your job, then that may affect you, especially if you know it'll probably be you being the one that's going to be pushed aside and even less game time coming to you. And maybe that could have been a part of the reason, but a big part of the reason why he didn't just explode is that he was just relieved, man. It'd been a long time since he scored a goal, and it was just like a whole weight came off his shoulder, people. So I don't read into anything about him not, not celebrating and thinking that he's going to leave. I don't think he's going anywhere. It was just more of a sigh of relief rather than that. But it wouldn't be a shock, would it, if someone's coming in for your job? I mean, just think about at your own workplace. If you think you doing okay or think you've had a spot, and then all of a sudden your company's hiring, you say, "Hey, when they put out this ad for this is my position." What? Well, it's going to mess with your week a little, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it, people, man. Ben, that's tremendous. Is there a buyback for Chris Wood? That is tremendous, man. That's funny. That's funny, man. Listen, shout out to Chris Wood, man. First of all, he's killing it for my FPL team. But listen, Forest, I'm at the point now. I want to see Forest do it, man, because I've said it before. It's reminded me of our 99 2000 season. There you go. Take a shot of a drink. I've said it again. But it's just reminding me of that year where everything just seems to be clicking. Well, apart from when it, the Bowyer Woodgate thing. But yeah. And oh God. And then of course Turkey. Okay. On the pitch, it was clicking nicely enough for us to get into the Champions League. So yeah, it's just reminding me of that in terms of Forest. But yeah. Yeah, love seeing Fopo hug Joseph after scoring, very wholesome. Yeah, and listen, Nanto was the same. Nanto was more of a audible, because he's probably a mixture of not scoring, not getting the game time now because of the good form of James and Solomon. His is probably a mix of everything. But it just means, people, that these players, they're doing their best, but not only doing the best, they're talented players, and there's more to come from them. And I said to Joseph, look, you've got one now. They'll probably just come as long as you keep, getting opportunities to play. But we will see, people. We will see, won't we? But yeah, I don't think there's anything else at this point, people. Is there anything else? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Darren here saying maybe we should look at the J League for some prospects. I know you're laughing, Darren, but there are some. It's funny. These players don't become these players unless they come from a certain place. And when you think of that, I guess you're probably thinking of Son, who he came from Leverkusen for Spurs. But there's all these players come from somewhere, and you have to be the ones. That's why I've said it many times about Kiskard and Danish forward. Be that club that gets him before he becomes something, and then he's worth like 20, 30 million. They all have to begin somewhere. And the Nordic, I think they call him Nordic, don't they? I know I've got a lot of Norwegian people that watch. Nordic, right? Swedish, Denmark, Danish. I don't know why I said it Swedish. I'm so sorry. Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, Scandinavian Isles. There's a lot of talent on those, a lot of unearthed gems on those isles. There's a lot of talents, but you just have to have the good scouts to scout them and recognize them and bring them to the football club. They do. Is that the goalkeeper, Matt Suzuki, for Parma? Is that his first name? I don't know his first name, but he's a good goalkeeper, the Japanese goalkeeper. If it's not him, correct me, Matt, because I don't know his first name, but Suzuki, good goalkeeper for Parma, man. Yes, Matt, thank you for that. Right, just one here saying, if we're 10 points clear in April, I'd like to see Harry Gray get some appearances. I think he's ready. I do. I think he's ready for, like you say, appearances. I don't know if it's going to be starts. I think that's probably too much. But I would like to see him on the bench as a striking option. I would like to see him way ahead of Bamford. I'll tell you that. Now, I'm not saying he's ready for out-and-out first-team football, but to give him some championship experience, I think would be a good thing, because his talent level is very, very high. And I hope we nurture it in the right way. And he stays with us. You know what I mean? He stays with us. That's got to be the thing. People think LUFC living here. People think because a player plays in a league like the Serbian league, then they must be rubbish. They're cheap. They're a good cheap gems in my eyes. Absolutely. If you turn your nose up at the smaller leagues, it says more about you, because that's the whole thing with the whole Prem proven thing. And people that watch this channel know that absolutely grinds my gears. I can't stand the term he's Prem proven. What does that mean? Almiron has just had 6 years at Newcastle. He's Prem proven, and he's absolute garbage. The Paraguayan Beyblade, trash player. but he was there for 6 years. Would you want Almiron in your team? No, you wouldn't. He's Prem proven. What does that actually mean? And all these players that are Prem proven were elsewhere, like Alexander Isak, perfect example. A lot of questions. Is he worth the 70 million that Newcastle have paid? Now you got Arsenal just begging for him now. They all come from somewhere. Every player does. A lot of legends come from other leagues, and that's why I say don't turn your nose up at the league, because sometimes in that league there could be one standout player that's waiting for that move to come to the bigger leagues. It happens all the time, people. Yeah, Duran, you know what? He came from the MLS. He did, yeah, and now I know he's gone over to Saudi, secure the bag, and all that. And listen, there was somebody that left a political comment. I don't do politics on here. All right, I don't do politics. He was talking about, I'm not going to get into it, but don't leave political comments. I'm just not interested in them. All right. Thank you. Yeah, Ali, great example here. And I'll throw in Brentford in that as well. The amount of players that Brighton have signed from clubs we haven't heard of, in my eyes, it's more about the scouting than the fees, especially on a limited budget. Ali, you've nailed it all. Don't need to say any more. 10 out of 10, no notes. Don't need to say anything else on that. But listen, people, that is the show. Because you know what? I'm kind of going into waffle settings now. That's been our window. But I will be back later today. So please turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going live. We'll rate the transfer window in that show. And listen, people, until the next time, I'll see you later. Please like the video before you go as well. Really does help out the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.